Hi guys, I'm Kiri, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna talk about a 1976 Ferrari 512 Berlinetta Boxer, and we're gonna catch up why this phenomenal car was all the time in shadow of the rival Lamborghini Countach. But before that, let's see why Ferrari created the model Berlinetta Boxer, and what was the purpose of this car. 1950s and 60s Ferrari had great success. Was a Formula 1 winning car, was a Le Mans winning car, Mille winning car, you name it. This success on the tracks reflects on the brand name. The business with road-going cars was going great. Royal people, movie stars, top musicians, wealthy industrialists were ordering and enjoying the prancing horse. There was not a real rival, just maybe Maserati and Aston Martin. But one day a very rich Italian magnate bought a Ferrari. Actually, later he owned a couple of Ferraris. He was enjoying a lot, but wasn't very happy from the quality. So one day he decided to build his own car. And not only to build his own car, but to be better than Ferrari. When we said better, we mean better in any way. His name was Ferruccio. He built his first prototype in 1963. Then, next year, the first production car was ready. These cars were bulletproof, and the way they were built to last longer. But everything changed in 1966, when the same guy introduced the first supercar in the world. Ferruccio's family name was Lamborghini, and we're talking about the car the world never see before, Lamborghini Miura. This was the great changer. The Ferrari boss Enzo Ferrari couldn't sleep. How is that possible, some just over 20 years old designers, to create something like this? By the way, Bertone House designed the Miura. Even Pininfarina was in shock. They were creating some of the best and most beautiful cars in the world. But from where and how came the Miura? Anyway, the boss ordered the new tasks to Pininfarina. Create something similar or even better. But the Miura wasn't only beautiful car. It was very innovative as well, very radical and even with race ideas. You could open all front shell and back shell, and the car looks like proper race car, with V12 engine with the same block for engine and gearbox. Straight Ferrari and Pininfarina start to work on something similar, but it took a lot of time. The top Ferrari model at the time was the model 275 GTB4. Very soon, in 1969, was replaced by the very new model Ferrari 365 GTB4 Daytona, but the same conception like the 275, front V12 engine and rear wheel drive. After a couple of years, in 1973, the new conception car was ready. 12-cylinder top Ferrari, 365 GT4 Berlinetta Boxer, but this time mid-mounted engine like the Miura, and also similar to the Miura with open front shell and back engine cover shell as well. Extremely new weight shape design, even very new for Enzo Ferrari. I don't know how he agreed with this new innovation, but anyway, there was something better by Ferrari, and this was the engine. It was a 12-cylinder, but this time not V-shape. Ferrari went further. They installed a race 180 degrees 12-cylinder engine in the 365 Berlinetta Boxer, from where the name BB is coming, Berlinetta Boxer. There is some doubt about the letters BB, but most officially mean Berlinetta Boxer. In 1970s, Ferrari was racing in Formula 1 with flat engines, simply because the center of the gravity is low with this type and the car should be more stable on the road. So the car actually was better than the Miura, and the same way attractive like the Miura as well. But the years Ferrari were busy to develop this 365 Berlinetta Boxer model, Lamborghini haven't been sleeping. They already forgot the Miura. And the time Ferrari introduced the 365 BB, Lamborghini was ready to launch the replacement of the Miura. The most shocking and controversial car, the Lamborghini Countach. The Countach had everything on the right time, like the Miura before, new angular and sharp design, the crazy scissor doors, the V12, lightness, chassis, suspension, radical for the time. So Lamborghini was always one step ahead of Ferrari. And this is why the top Ferrari for the 1970s and early 80s 365 Berlinetta Boxer, later 512 BB or BBI, was all the time in shadow of the more smart Lamborghini Countach. The Countach was taking all the attention everywhere, was the star of any show or any presentation. Everyone was going to the show to see the star. In my opinion, the most big factor for attraction is the shape, the design. And the Countach again was the more attractive. Not the performance, not the technology, not the innovations, but the design. I remember some 11 years ago, a friend of mine told me a story. By the way, he is from Colchester, the oldest town or city in England. So, when he was a kid, very small kid, in one of the showrooms in Colchester was displayed a Countach. So the kid asked his father to go to the showroom and to ask the owner of the showroom if it's possible to sit in the Countach. They went, the father asked, and the kid, my friend, sat in the Countach. And this was the most memorable moment of the kid. But I want to point something different. I asked my friend why he wanted to sit in a Countach, but not in a Ferrari, for example. And he told me, because I knew it, the Lamborghini Countach is the most crazy car in the world. That's it, end of the story. So not the technology side, not the performance, but the astonishing, or let's say UFO style design was the biggest factor, the car to be a star. And the rest of the others just supercars. Berlinetta Boxer was always, we're gonna say again, in shadow of the Countach. Later Ferrari tried to move up a bit. They replaced the 365 Berlinetta Boxer with the new 512 BB, the actual car in front of us, in 1976. Some improvements like front splitter under the bumper, side ducts in front of the rear wheels, 4 tail lights instead of 6, the same with the exhaust pipes, new wheels and suspension, but the most radical change was the engine. The same conception, flat 12-cylinder, but instead of 4.4 liter for the 365 BB, now the capacity was enlarged to 5 liter, 4943 cc, from where the name is coming 512 Berlinetta Boxer, so 5 liter, 12-cylinder Berlinetta Boxer. Ferrari improved the car, but actually was slow than the predecessor 365 BB. The chassis was tubular frame and was influenced directly from the winning 1965 Ferrari 250 Le Mans. 4 independent corners with double wishbones, independent suspension with single coils and springs on front, double coils and springs at the back, race chassis, suspension, engine, knockoff wheels makes the car extremely wanted from the rich guys. The engine producing 340 horsepower and 450 Nm of torque. Very noisy inside the cabin and very shaky. Don't forget, it's a race chassis, so all the vibrations are coming straight in. The tires are a little bit bigger than the early 365 GT4 BB. Michelin XWX front 215 70 VR15, rear 225 70 VR15. As we mentioned earlier, the 512 BB has a front chin spoiler, which helping the car not to lift up in top speed. The 365 BB is with no chin spoiler, so at top speed the nose of the car lifts at 1 inch, which is not very good. Also, the side knuckle ducts in front of the rear wheels were introduced to cooling down the exhaust and the rear brakes. Also, more grills and mesh on the engine lid to help with the hot air escaping from the engine bay. Just 929 examples of the Ferrari 512 BB, the carbureted V12 5-liter engine, were produced between 1976 and 1981. 6 years in production, which mean approximately 155 cars per year were leaving the Maranello factory. In 1981 they introduced the injection version of the same car, and respectively new name 512 BBI. This was done especially for the American market because of the very strict US standards for the emissions. And this really helped Ferrari to sell more cars. Just for information, for the 3 years in production between 1981 and 1984, the final year for the BB cars, Ferrari sold 1007 cars. Everything was the same as the 512 BB, just as we mentioned, instead of carburetors, Now the engine was coped with Bosch Jetronic fuel injection. The other differences were the wheels and tires, TRX Michelin metric size, much bigger front and rear tires. The carbureted version 512 BB is very desirable today, accelerating from 0 to 62 miles per hour or 100 kilometers per hour just for 5.4 seconds, or by some sources 5.7 seconds. Maximum speed was 288 kilometers per hour or 179 miles per hour. Ferrari built some 20 more cars for racing, 512 Berlinetta Boxster Le Mans, and they were competitive cars. The best result is 6 overall at 1982 24 hours of Le Mans, which is actually great success. Don't forget, it's not a purposely built car for the Le Mans top class. From the early 365 GT4 BB, Ferrari built only 387 cars between 1973 and 1976. So in total, from 1973 to 1984, Ferrari built 2,323 cars, Berlinetta Boxsters, from all three versions. But it seems the most popular is 512 Berlinetta Boxster, the car in front of us. We said just 929 were made, but only 101 in right-hand drive configuration. That means if you see a 512 BB in right-hand drive, the car is very rare. But to be honest, the price of this beauty doesn't seem to go up, probably is moving, not too much, and today you can buy an example even under 200,000 British pounds, euro or American dollars. For some very original cars, low miles and owners, the price is up, but again, it's not that much like Lamborghini Miura, with prices over 1.5 million, 2 million or even more. Miura in total built just 762 cars. Ferrari Berlinetta Boxster was better car, all versions. Even Ferrari has this very important racing pedigree and history, but the reality is different. Even the Countach is more expensive than Berlinetta Boxster. There is no Countach under $500,000. Maybe there are some, but not many. Both cars made similar numbers, just over 2000, so sometimes it's not about history, it's what the people like it. So guys, I hope you liked the video about Ferrari 512 Berlinetta Boxster. If you like, please subscribe my channel and see you next time guys. Bye!